In this video, I will show you how you can use EasySafe with our dialog system. First of all, make sure that your dialog system version is at least 1.2.1. I have already imported dialog system and EasySafe assets into my project. Currently, I am in the sample RPG scene provided with the dialog system. RPG scene has an NPC, and this NPC can trigger a dialog. The first dialog that it triggers is RPG dialog 1, and when you take a look at it in the tree editor, the RPG dialog 1 then triggers RPG dialog 2. So let me just hit play and I will show you how it works. Okay, so I will pick up the heart and press I next to my NPC to trigger the dialog. Okay, so let's just press next, and I can select the first choice, for example. And now I want to show you something. I will pause this for a second, and when I go to my NPC, you can see that current dialog is RPG dialog 1. But now when I go back to my scene and when I hit next, the RPG dialog 1 is now over. And when I pause again, you can see that the NPC has currently RPG dialog 2 set as a current dialog. So now when I go back to my scene, I can press I, and the RPG dialog 2 will basically loop. And then when I stop the scene, and when I play it again, I can go back to my NPC. And boom, as you can see, it is showing RPG dialog 1. So what we will do is we will use EasySafe to save and load current dialog of our NPC. Alright, so the first thing we need is a dialog registry. So we can right click and select Create, Dialog System, Dialog Registry. We can call this one NPC Registry. And this is a scriptable object that will keep track of every dialog that our NPC can trigger. So we can put to our list RPG dialog 1 as well as RPG dialog 2, because these are the two dialogues that our NPC can trigger. Once we have our NPC registry, we can move on to the NPC example script to implement the load logic. The first thing we need in our NPC example script are two variables. The first variable is a reference to a character scriptable object of our NPC, and the other variable is a dialog registry, which will be our NPC registry that we have just created. The next thing we need is an awake function, so I can put it right here. And what we do in the awake function is, first of all, we create a key, and the key is created using character name of our scriptable object. And then we append a string dialog ID, so together we create a key. Then what we do is we ask EasySafe if it contains key with this value. If it does, then we basically load the dialog ID from EasySafe. And once we have dialog ID, we can get the actual dialog by ID using dialog registry. And finally, once we have the dialog, we can set the current dialog to be the dialog that we have just loaded. And that's pretty much all we need to do in the NPC example script. So let's get back to Unity. Okay, so now the NPC will load the correct dialog in the awake function. And what we need to do next is actually implement the save logic. We can implement the save logic in the dialog UI manager script. So let's move to the script. Okay, implementing the save logic will be actually very easy. All we need to do is move to the onEndNote function. And here we have a part of a code that sets the current NPC's current dialog to the next dialog of the end node. Now what we'll do is we will add this line of code, and what this does, it says EasySafe to save a key and a value. And the key that we save is a character name of our NPC plus this dialog ID string, and the value to this key is going to be dialog ID of our NPC's new current dialog. And so that's all the code that we needed to write. we can return back to Unity now. So back in Unity, what we want to do is fill in the fields in our MPC example script. So the first field is a character, and I can select Arthur, for example, because that's actually the name of this NPC. And then the dialog registry is my NPC registry, which is right here. So I can drag and drop the NPC registry here. And now that's all I had to do. So let's just hit play and see how it works. Okay, so now I will go ahead and pick up the heart. I will press I on my keyboard to talk to the NPC. As you can see, it triggers RPG dialog 1. We can move next, and we can select the first choice, for example, and now we can complete the RPG dialog 1. Now when I hit pause, you can see that currently we have RPG dialog 2, set as current dialog. And then when I hit I again, it triggers RPG dialog 2, which is set to loop currently, so it will just keep showing RPG dialog 2. Now when I hit stop, and when I play the scene again, the NPC should trigger RPG dialog 2. So let's just go next to my NPC. And as you can see, it triggers RPG dialog 2. Even when I pause, you can properly see that current dialog is RPG dialog 2. So this is how you can implement save and load logic using Easy Save. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope that it helped you out, and if you have some questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can also post them in our Discord channel.